Hey everyone, how's it going? Five Finger Shuffle back here with another video. And today what I want to do is talk about Mai. So, as you guys know, they brought Mai and Kyo into the game recently, and I haven't really talked about them much because I really wanted to try and see what I thought about them first. I was a little concerned when they first brought these units out that potentially there was going to be some issues with the integration of the different playstyles from these units to the current units in the game. So I just wanted to see how they kind of came out first before I reacted to them. So what I want to do today is we're going to go over all the skills and talk about kind of where I think they're going to be used and what they're going to be good for and potentially what they're not going to be good for. So let's start with the fire one. So this one, actually before we even start, I've been getting a lot of questions about this. So you can get this unit for free. Where is it? Not the Halloween calendar. Where? It's got to be this one, I guess. So, yeah. If you finish top 3 here in the KOF leaderboard, you will get Mai for free. See, rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. You click on it, you get a Mai. Easy, right? If you don't finish top 3, if you finish 4th to 15th, you get 50 shards. If you finish 16th to 50th, you get 30 shards. 51 to 300, you get 20 shards, and so on. All the way down to the top 5,000 where you only get 5 shards. So how are you going to get Mai with these shards? They've already mentioned this, but I know a lot of people didn't catch the announcement, which is why I want to repeat it. First of all, you need 100 shards in order to summon her. So if you finish to 4th to 15th and you get 50 shards, all you have to do is the next time they come out with this event, you just need to finish 4th to 15th again, get another 50 shards, and you can summon her. So this event currently is 3 weeks long. They will be holding this event again, though, once every month. It'll last for 1 week. So one of every 4 weeks they will have a Mai event. And that Mai event is where you'll be able to get the rest of these shards in order to summon her. So you will be able to get this Mai for free. Keep that in mind. That's why we're farming the dungeons like crazy right now. That's why the leaderboards are so high, is because people are trying to get these Mai shards along with the other resources as well. And these tokens are kind of nice as well as the light darks and the fuzzle puffs. So back to the actual champions themselves. And that is why you need to know all this stuff, obviously, is because you're going to be getting one eventually. So, first up, Fire Mai. I'm going to skip over the first part of these skills, but we're going to read it just for the first unit. Hits 3 times in quick succession. After using a super empowered skill, the next 3 hits removes a legendary debuff from one nearby ally and generates bonus super points and hyperdrive points. So being able to remove a legendary debuff from one nearby ally, for example, legendary silence or legendary mortal wounds, that's going to be enormous. So if you're facing a unit with legendary mortal wounds or legendary silence, maybe she'll be an option. Next up, I'm not going to try and read that name, but throws a fan in a direction. The fan damages and slows all enemies in its path. Stopping on the first champion hit, generates super points if not empowered. When super empowered, throws 2 additional fans. The last fan stuns. Bonus damage based on attack speed. I like bonus damage based on attack speed. That being said, these units have by far the worst attack speed in the game at only 0.65. So you're going to get very little bonus points for the attack speed, as their attack speed is crazy low, and that's turns out to be making them kind of hard to use. Their skills are really, really strong, but with the low attack speed, it's kind of hindering their ability to be overly successful, at least at this point. Next up, dashes forward, damaging enemies in a line, generates super bonus points if not empowered. So basically it does nothing other than damage. But when super empowered, deals more damage, lowers attack, and pushes enemies toward her destination. Again, bonus damage based on attack speed. Then spins her fans, damaging nearby enemies. Generates super bonus points if not empowered. When empowered, summons flames around her that damage and knock nearby enemies into the air. And then her hyperdrive ability channels a fire tornado around her, instantly generating 1 super stock and entering hyperdrive mode. This tornado damages nearby enemies and knocks them into the air. Can move at 50% speed while channeling. Bonus damage based on attack speed again. Activating hyperdrive ability makes champion enter hyperdrive mode, which raises attack by 75% and defense by 50% and move speed by 33% for a short period of time. I'm not really sure why move speed goes up when you're also nerfing it by 50% in the ability. I don't know why that isn't. They just don't counter each other, but it doesn't really matter. In the end, you get a small move speed nerf while that ability is up, and a crit damage leader skill of an extra 30%. So I don't know if you'll ever use that crit damage leader skill, but maybe depending on your comp, if you're using something where it's like all your units are based on attack speed, or all your units are based on enemies max HP or something like that, and you want to use a crit damage lead, then you could do that. So all in all, very interesting kit. These units with their double skills, sort of like when empowered and not empowered. Super interesting. This one in particular, I think really the only thing that I find really interesting is that legendary buff removal. Being able to cleanse your team of legendary debuffs is something that we haven't had before. So she will be your only unit that does that at this point. So at some point that's going to become really useful, and you will need her. Next up, the water one. Same first skill, removing debuffs. Then swipes her fan and arc in front of her, damages enemies, raises attack speed of nearby allies. We all know how strong that is in this game. Generates bonus super points if not empowered. When empowered, flips backward and kicks enemies away, damaging them, raises attack speed of nearby allies again, while still, and bonus damage based on attack speed. So that's kind of nice. This one's I like a little better because it has the raise attack speed, which is going to help the attack speed damage. It's still not going to be great, but at least it buffs it. She buffs herself. Then second skill, raises defense of nearby allies and jumps in the air, diving to attack target area, damages and lowers attack of enemies along her path and near the impact point. Generates bonus points if not empowered. On impact, if super empowered, on impact leaves a pool of fire that periodically damages enemies and lowers attack bonus damage based on attack speed. So defense buff and attack speed buff now, looking like a super support. And then throws a fan, this is the last one. Throws a fan, damaging the first enemy hit, inflicting legendary block buff. So that is the first time we've had that. She could be used against bosses. Think Steel Widow. I haven't tried her there, I don't have one. But think Steel Widow being able to block the immunity, or invulnerability I mean, and the shield. Or in, say, Blitz 50, throw her in there. You have suddenly a defense buff, attack speed buff, and legendary block buff, meaning that the boss will not be able, the Dark Archangel will not be able to put up invulnerability on anybody, and would be easy to kill. So depending on that cooldown, that could be crazy. And then same thing with the hyperdrive ability, and the same effects on your champ as well as a synergy skill. So she's looking like probably one of the best supports in the game suddenly. I think she looks really, really good. Those support skills, like think Rhoda. Rhoda is one of the most used champions in the game in every aspect of the game because she has attack speed buff, she does damage, and she has a defense break and skill cooldown reduction. So out of those skills, only has the attack speed buff, but she has lowers attack and legendary block buff and legendary buff removal. So all in all, I mean, that's that's pretty good. I mean, this is more for legendary skills than, or legendary buffs and debuffs rather than the others. But she might be like the next level of Rhoda. And the final one of the regular elements is the nature one. And this is where we kind of get interesting. The first one, instead of buff removal, or sorry, debuff removal, she has shred defense. So the shred defense skill, we were just talking about this, about the Fire Siege Tower and how strong the Fire Siege Tower is now. We talked about this in the tier list video in the last one. If you haven't seen the tier list video yet, it is updated. I will include a link to it at the end of this video. But yeah, check that out for sure. The Mize are on there, and they're all ranked relatively high. So this shred defense, because of how good the Fire Siege Tower has been, it is going to be ranked relatively high, as it could be amazing for dungeons. And also co-op as well. Keep in mind these units would be really good for co-op. I didn't mention that with the first two, but that's definitely what it is looking like. Especially the attack speed buff of the water one. Swipes her fan and arc in front of her, damaging enemies in a cone. More damage, and when super empowered, more damage, and deals bonus damage based on enemies' max HP and attack speed. So that's interesting. And then next skill, dashes forward, damage enemies in a line, generates super bonus points if not empowered, deals more damage, lowers attack, and pushes enemies toward her destination. And then finally, with the last skill, spins with her fans, damaging nearby enemies, generates super bonus points if not empowered, summons flames around her that damage and knock enemies in the air, channels a fire tornado around her, instantly generating. So this is kind of, there's really not much else. So we have, she's confusing to me because she has such an overpowered first skill with that shred defense. That shred defense is incredible. I would love to have a shred defense skill. And the lowers attack is nice. So looking like it'd be good against water bosses, or I guess nature bosses as well. But then there's really not much else unless she does big damage. So she's a fighter. I haven't tested her. I haven't tested her damage. If she does really good damage, then great. Otherwise, you're really just going to use her for the shred defense. It's going to be really hard to tell until we test her, and that's not something that we can even really know yet. And looking at these, she has base 343 attack. She has base 334 attack. And she has base 287 attack. So she has the lowest base attack, and I feel like she's the one who probably would need to do the most damage in order to be good. So it feels like they're just not going to let her do a bunch of damage, but again, we're going to have to test it. Let's leave the light one for last. The dark one has the legendary buff removal again. And then again with the raise attack speed, and the raise defense, and the lowers attack, and then the regular hyper skill as well. So this one is very, very similar to the water one. I don't even know if there's a difference. Let's actually check. Buff removal, raise attack speed, raise defense, lowers attack. Oh, sorry, the water one finishes with the legendary block buff. So the water one I think is going to be better. The first skills are all the same, but then the dark one kind of gets screwed in that it doesn't have the legendary block buff compared to the water one, but still really strong. I mean, if you don't need that legendary block buff, she's just as strong as the water one. And then the light one, everybody's hopes and dreams, shred defense, which is amazing. She has the worst of the second skills here, but still has the defense buff, the lowers attack, and the legendary block buff. So I feel like she's potentially the best one. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the raise attack speed on this second skill. That being said, if she did have it, it would be crazy overpowered. So I'm kind of happy that she doesn't have it. But the shred defense of the nature one, combined with some utility, makes her really, really, really strong. So unfortunately, I don't have any of these units. But I believe I have some on my friends list. So we can jump into a dungeon here, and I will show you guys a run really quick. So I was just doing this team here while I was leveling my vampire. So let's just take the vampire out of there for a minute and see if we can find a... There we go. So this is actually Dank Smai. So this is the one that has the raise attack speed, raise defense, and legendary block buff. So let's run this. We're going to run it in a speed team. We don't need Rhoda because we already have a Rhoda in there. We do need a damage dealer in Alia. We need the strip from Vimal. How else are we going to do this? So we don't have a defense break. Normally I would run a defense break with my Rhoda with defense break, but we don't need her in here. So who else can we defense break with? I mean, we could go safe-ish and run her, but we don't really need it. So why don't we run him as a defense break? He has pretty good accuracy. Whoops. The only issue is that he's not based on attack speed. I would kind of wish he was, but he's not. Who else do we have? You know what? Let's actually use some ongoing damage. Actually, no. Let's have some fun with it. Go pure damage, and we'll go double Alia as well. And then we can go crit damage, attack speed, or cooldown. Or attack. You know what? Since we're showcasing her, let's go crit damage. Hopefully this works, and we'll see what happens. So just while this is loading, we are streaming tonight in about half an hour, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are currently at 981 follows on Twitch. So we are only 19 follows away from 1,000. It's possible we could hit it tonight. If you want to stop by and say hello, we will be having a countdown, obviously, for 1,000 followers. It's going to be crazy. We are planning a giveaway stream, as I've mentioned before. We're going to be having some in-game merch from Gameloft, and we're going to be having t-shirts as well of the Dark B t-shirts that I showed you guys. So hopefully you guys can stay tuned for that. I'm not sure when that giveaway is going to be yet. We've changed the date from the 3rd already, so I'm just not sure what we're changing it to. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I will be announcing it both here and in Discord and on Twitch a lot. So you can join us on Twitch at twitch.tv/5fingershuffle. So I'm sure his Dank Smai isn't skilled up, because obviously he just got her. But the skill cooldown of the block buff needs to be maxed, I think, because it needs to be up all the time. But there you go. Pretty quick. 58 seconds. We'll show the damage report. And then I got one more thing I want to talk about in regards to them. So you can see she's not doing much damage. I'm not sure how he has her built. But the main issue right now is that, yeah, they have great, like, she's basically a Rhoda replacement right now. The trick is you're going to need a defense break. But the main issue right now is the gear. So you guys know, I'm sure, you've been farming these things for days. Getting good gear for them, it seems like they do better on their own gear, which makes sense. As you know, you can get her own special gear from the KOF event. But it seems like they're doing better with 4-star gear of their own than 6-star gear from in-game. So for now, considering they're not skilled up, they aren't really geared up very well. We still don't really know what their potential is. So we're gonna have to stay tuned. We're gonna have to see kind of where their max potential lies. Once you get, like, say, 6-star legendary gear on these girls, are they gonna do incredible damage, or are they gonna be the same as they are now? We're not really sure yet. Obviously they're gonna be stronger than they are now, but will they be overpowered? Anyway, stay tuned for that. Once I know more, I will be sure to let you guys know. But in the meantime, good luck on your banner summons. I hope everybody pulls one, myself included. If you didn't check it out, I did do a few banner summons already. I think we've done... Hey, stop. I think we've done 10 banner summons for her, and we whiffed. We got no lasers. So, no luck on my end, but I wish you all the best of luck. We will see you soon. Don't forget to join us on Twitch tonight in the hopes that we hit 1,000 followers. And we'll see you all soon with another video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.